This, my friends, is the basic funda of white balance. White balance works exactly like your color. Technology can correct your color cast in a heartbeat. The auto white balance already does that to deliver a technically correct image. But only an artist, a storyteller, will know exactly when the scene needs correction, because there is so much more that the white balance can do. So, one of my most favorite shows is BoJack Horseman, and there is one particular dialogue that I find very fascinating. In this scene, Wanda tells BoJack, when you look at someone through rose colored glasses, even the red flags look like flags. Goosebumps, right? If wearing rose colored glasses is love, then taking them off is white balance. And that's exactly what we're going to learn in today's episode. But before we proceed, I'm going to lead with a spoiler. Sometimes, when you want to tell a love story, you need to show the view through the rose colored glasses, which is why in today's episode, we will understand white balance and we'll see how to use it correctly, but we'll also see how to bend it and use it creatively when the scene so demands. It's going to be a two-part episode, and yes, as far as white balance is concerned, there is more than meets the eye. On that note, without further ado, let's begin. Now, the best way to understand white balance is with the help of this example of a very commonly used laundry product. Remember this? It goes by the name Ala. You may also know it as Robin Blue or Ujala or Mrs. Stewart's Bluing, different brand names. But basically, this is that magical blue solution which transforms your old yellowish tinted white shirts and restores them to their pristine white sparkling form. But do you know how it works? It actually does not clean the shirt, nor does it take off any of that yellowish stain. It works on this beautiful little concept called the color perception principle. And this is what it does. The way we see the colorful world around us is surprisingly simple. Our eyes use just 3 types of color-sensitive cells: red, green, and blue. This is the same way our camera sees it too. By combining different values of these 3 channels, our eyes can perceive a world of millions of colors. And when the 3 channels read the same value, it is the color white. This is why a white shirt looks white. But over a period of time, due to constant usage, this white shirt starts developing a yellowish tint. This is where the blue liquid comes in, because this blue solution is nothing but a blue dye, a blue pigment, and blue is the complement of yellow. So this blue pigment will nicely coat the shirt and it optically cancels out the yellow, making it appear much more whiter, much more brighter. This, my friends, is the basic funda of white balance. White balance works exactly like your ala, except that in this case, the shirt is not actually turning yellow. It only appears yellow because of the light under which it is viewed. This is owing to a specific attribute of light called the color temperature. It's the same reason why the Taj Mahal appears pink at dawn and golden by sunset. Basically, light itself casts a tint on everything that it touches, and the color of that tint depends on the temperature of the light. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to change the color temperature of my light source, and I would like you to observe the different shades of white this paper is going to appear in. Notice as I'm increasing the color temperature, the bluish tint is becoming more dominant. Now, why is it important to correct this color cast? Because if you notice, this color cast makes the colors of the scene look unnatural. Now, this is most pronounced when it comes to white because the color white does not have any inherent tint, but it does affect all the colors to varying degrees. Therefore, by nudging the camera to a point where white actually looks like white, we are also returning all the other hues back to their natural shade. We are essentially calibrating the camera to reproduce natural colors. And the camera will do the adjustment for us If the light is too blue, then it's going to add some warmer tones. If the light is too warm, it's going to add some bluish tones. Our job is just to tell the camera what the color temperature of the light source is. This value is the white balance setting, not the temperature of the photograph that you want. Now, because everything in photography is like a museum of paradox, there is another trick that you can use to remember this. When it comes to color temperature, remember hot is cold. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, please do like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, there are 3 ways in which you can tell the camera what the color temperature of your scene is. First one is auto white balance, where you've basically given the camera the entire decision-making capability. The camera is going to calibrate the scene and decide what the white balance should be. The second way is by using presets. Now, every camera has its own set of presets and they actually do a pretty decent job. Basically here, you don't have to remember any temperature values. You just need to tell the camera what's the light that you're shooting under. Are you shooting in daylight? Are you shooting in the shade? Are you shooting under flash? Or are you shooting under an incandescent bulb? And the third one is by doing it manually, where you're actually going to key in the tentative color temperature in terms of Kelvin. Now, your camera typically has a white balance range between 2000 to 10,000. Somewhere in between, around 5200 is your daylight temperature. So if you're shooting a bluish looking scene, then you're going to put a higher value. And if you're shooting a warmer scene and you want to correct that color cast, you're going to have to put a lower value. So once you tell the camera what color temperature it is that you're shooting in, the camera is going to do the rest and it's going to take off the color cast and give you a scene true to its colors. Now that we've learned everything about white balance and how to use it correctly, let's come back to the rose tinted glasses. Because sometimes, actually many times, when we correct the color cast, we actually strip the image of its soul. I mean, think about it. Our eyes and our mind work a lot by filling in the blanks. For instance, when you see the orange color cast of a fireplace or a bonfire, your mind automatically plugs the scene with a feeling of warmth. When you see the bluish forest at dawn, you can automatically feel the nip in the air. In fact, our visual system has learned over a lifetime to associate warm-hued light with heat sources like sunrise, fire, incandescent bulbs, and cool-hued light to cooler environments like moonlight, overcast skies, and shade. These colors take you deeper into the experience and nudge your sensory memory into reconstructing the scenes in terms of temperature, texture, atmosphere. They let you feel through the two-dimensional wall. And why just physical aspects like temperature and texture, they also heighten the emotional value of the scene, which is why warmer tones convey a mood of warmth, love, intimacy, excitement, energy, passion, while blues and cooler tones carry a mood of solitude, of calmness, of melancholy, which is why I started out by saying that while this topic is easy, there is more than meets the eye. Technology can correct your color cast in a heartbeat. The auto white balance already does that to deliver a technically correct image. But only an artist, a storyteller, will know exactly when the scene needs correction, because there is so much more that the white balance can do. In fact, while we speak of white balance, we're not always using this tool to balance the light. You can use it to correct it for faithful realism. Definitely. But you can also use it to embrace the colors of the scene. You can use it to exaggerate the colors of the scene. And in some cases, you can use it to contradict the color of the scene. And we will learn how each of these mechanisms works in part 2 of the episode. With that, we have reached the end of today's topic on white balance. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. I will see you next week with a lot of fun examples where we will dive into the different ways to use white balance, where we go beyond simply correcting it. Until then, take care. Bye.